What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Sloppy Saturdays. And today we are talking about Dabo Swinney publicly calling out Ole Miss and Luke Ferrelli for a clear tampering case that was against him. We're going to talk about everything. We're going to give you the Spark Notes version of everything Dabo Swinney said, and I'm going to give you my opinions on this as well. Now, before we get into this, I want to talk about the common theme of this offseason around the NIL transfer portal, around college football. What have we been consistently saying? We have said NIL and transfer portal over the last 2 years has been great for the sport of college football. College football is in a better place. It widens up the landscape of college football. Not only that, it gives players maximum flexibility. It gives them a chance to really develop at the rate that they want to develop and become a better product for the pros and being able to capitalize monetarily on yourself. All that is true. We have also said, though, that the NIL and transfer portal, they completely transformed this sport very quickly. Same thing with the 12-team playoffs. And right now, everything does have to be fixed up a little bit. Again, these clear tampering allegations has been happening, but every single team has been doing it as well. Does it have to be fixed? Yes, but everybody's going to continue to do it to, again, enhance their ways to compete until it gets fixed. So, again, like I said, everything right now around college football is going in a better direction, but there still is clear fixes that things have to happen. Now, I'm going to give you the Spark Notes on the situation, what Dabo Swinney has said, how it all went down, and then I'm going to give my opinion on Dabo Swinney and Clemson, all of it considered, and it may be a shocking opinion to you guys. So, Dabo Swinney gets Luke Ferrelli from the transfer portal out of Cal. He commits them. They get a deal basically done. He has enrolled in classes at Clemson. He's at Clemson's campus. He ensures them over the first couple of basically days that he's committed to this program. He's going to stay at this program. Again, basically looks like a done deal. Ole Miss and Pete Golden swoop in. They have been active, one of the most active teams in the transfer portal, and they're consistently contacting Luke Ferrelli, trying to get him to come to Ole Miss. Like I said, the first couple of days he's ensuring Clemson. He's committed to Clemson, but Ole Miss basically pulls out all the stops for Luke Ferrelli. They have Trinidad Chambliss on call. They have Jackson Dart on call. They are trying to do whatever they can to get him to come to Ole Miss. Now, Luke Ferrelli begins to develop a little bit of a change of thought. He goes back to Clemson. Clemson AD contacts Dabo Swinney as well and basically says, now with Ole Miss pulling out all the stops, you guys need to add another $1 million to my deal for another year. Obviously, the AD at Clemson and Dabo Swinney feel like they are getting grabbed by the balls. Obviously, we talked about as these players have maximum flexibility and they basically have everything in their hands. They don't want to get jerked around. They feel like they had a deal that was done in place. Obviously, as this kid enrolled in the program, going to classes, they're not going to get jerked around by him. They said we are not doing the deal. What does Luke Ferrelli do? I believe the next day or two, he's out of Clemson. He's in Ole Miss now. I'm going to talk about everything regarding this and my opinions on this. Now, Dabo Swinney, like I said, he pulls out all the stops in his presser. He gives the exact timestamps of everything. But what have I told you guys? Whether it's Darian Mensah to Miami, it doesn't take a genius to figure out that everybody is tampering based on the timing everything is going down. Every program is tampering, whether it's, again, Texas, Ole Miss, Miami, like we said, Ohio State. Every top team is tampering. You have to use the NIL and transfer portal to the best of your ability. We have seen the last 4 teams in the college football playoffs, all of them have transfer portal quarterbacks. All have been using transfer portal and NIL to the max of their ability. I am completely sick of talking about Clemson, Dabo Swinney having the inability to maximize the transfer portal and NIL. And again, what I feel like, everybody knows that there is tampering. Dabo Swinney did not have to do this. What Dabo Swinney looks like going up to the presser and giving timestamps of this tampering, he looks like a rat. Not only that, he is showing that he is not willing to go the lanes for a player in NIL in the transfer portal era that these other top programs are. So with that, sorry, Clemson fans, Dabo Swinney is not going to be able to take you guys to a national championship in this era. And until Clemson program booster AD realizes that, you guys will not be competing in this NIL and transfer portal era. Like I said, You have to be willing to use the NIL and transfer portal to the best of your ability. If everybody's tampering, sorry, you got to tamper as well. It's been 2-3 years of the same exact conversation with Dabo, with Clemson, that they cannot use the transfer portal. And you have seen over the last national championships that the teams that maximize the transfer portal, maximize their NIL, what do? They win national championships. Maximizing the NIL and transfer portal is more important right now as a coach than what you are doing on the field as a coach, because it is such an advantage in college football. And again, I don't think Dabo Swinney has a lot longer in college football, because if we look at last year, again, he used the transfer portal a little better, but it was really only to acquire depth. He hasn't made any big moves in the transfer portal. But when we look at that Clemson last year and how they were national champion favorites, they had the most experienced talent in college football, players they developed over 3-4 years. When you look at a Cade Klubnik, when you look at a Peter Woods, TJ Parker, Antonio Williams, Sammy Brown, the list goes on and on. That team was ready and prepared for a national championship roster-wise with the developed talent that they had. It was an all-time blow-up by Dabo Swinney doing this. Again, they were basically out of contention within the first 4 or 5 weeks of college football. All-time blow-up. Again, Dabo Swinney only has a certain amount of time left. And this presser basically shows not only that, again, like I said, I don't like it because he looks like a rat. It shows that he is not willing to go the lengths that these other programs are to acquire a player. And his inability to maximize the NIL and transfer portal, again, like I said, sorry, Clemson fans, you will not be seeing another national championship under Dabo Swinney again in this era. That wraps up this episode of Sloppy Saturdays. Drop down below your thoughts on the current state of college football. Again, all the tampering. Again, we think that it is wrong, but if you're not going to do it, you're not going to compete. That wraps up this episode of Sloppy Saturdays, and we are